Is quarter four going to be a huge comeback for the crypto markets as well as some of these risk on assets as we are seeing quite a bit of bullish things that are going to be happening? One of which is, of course, the heavily favored Fed rate cut that could be happening in September. That, in my opinion, could drive the bull market to higher heights. We've been consolidating for quite a while for Bitcoin, for the altcoins here, as well as the stock market. So I think there's going to be a huge rebound that's going to be happening soon. We're going to be talking about a few altcoins later in this video as well, which will include Mog Coin, Memecoin. The actual coin is called Memecoin, and the symbol is MEMEUSDT, as well as Toshi. See what's happening in these coins since the last time I've talked about them, what has changed, and what their price targets are, if anything has changed. We're going to be getting into a few pieces of news here first before diving into the charts. So let's go ahead and do the news. I'll give you guys some of my reaction to some major headlines here. First piece here is by Cointelegraph. Bitcoin could still hit 160K by Christmas with average Q4 comeback. Now, I do agree with this headline because if you guys have been following my channel, you guys know that I have been bullish on this market, and for reasons I will tell you guys about, and I have been telling you guys about. I'll show you guys on the chart why I think that is. Of course, these are just my opinions and not financial advice. But I am long on Bitcoin. I am long on quite a bit of the altcoins here. And I'll tell you guys when I change my opinion, because as a trader in this market, I am open-minded to both sides of the trade. And I do think that all cycles come to an end. Bull cycle, sideways, bear cycles. So let's read through some key points here. Bitcoin can reverse its latest slump to new all-time highs in the next 4 months based on historical performance. That doesn't really tell me too much. Now, research says that the outlook for Bitcoin between now and Christmas is positive yet less volatile. That's interesting. The current dip may be front-running traditional September Bitcoin price downside. Now, I know a lot of YouTubers talk about, the months where, the average returns per month, for each month, right? I don't really buy into that, because I believe more in the trading patterns and how trading patterns develop. And if there are anything big happening in the markets, and I think the biggest thing happening in the market that's coming up is a very heavily favored Fed rate cuts. Let's just take a look at that CME watch tool that we've been tracking, okay? CME watch tool, this is the Fed watch tool, has been very accurate for the past couple of years that I've been using it. And right now, we're still sitting at about 87% of a Fed rate cut that could be happening in September. Now, this probability could change from day to day or even hour to hour, but so far it has been in a pretty consistent range between like 75% to 90%. So something to be keeping an eye out on, because I think this is going to be driving the bull run in quarter four. All right, let's go ahead to the next piece here. Next piece here is by Crypto Potato. Bitcoin profit taking hits all-time highs beyond 2021. Should investors be concerned? Now, if Bitcoin if people were actually taking profits from Bitcoin and actually leaving the crypto ecosystem, then I would be more concerned. However, I am actually taking a look into total altcoin market cap, right? Which is, the symbol is Toto. If I see Bitcoin actually dropping and Toto still increasing, like we're seeing right now, so Bitcoin is up just slightly, about 0.3%, but Toto is up 0.6%. I mean, this is not really profit taking yet for Bitcoin, but I'm also looking at total crypto market cap. If I see Bitcoin dropping, but total crypto market cap still increasing, that means these profit taking is going into altcoins. And in that case, I'm not too concerned. However, if I see Bitcoin dropping and total crypto market cap also dropping, then I would be more concerned. Of course, it also depends on the setup and the trading pattern as well, but I am seeing a pretty bullish trading pattern on total crypto market cap as well. I'll show you guys very quickly. All right, next piece here. U.S. likely to unveil massive Bitcoin strategic reserve by end of 2025, says former Trump advisor. So this is definitely bullish for Bitcoin because forming a massive Bitcoin strategic reserve is bullish for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is the driver of this crypto markets. And if Bitcoin pumps, so will the altcoins, and if Bitcoin dumps, so will the altcoins. Now, next piece here is by Crypto News. Powell hints that the Fed's rate cut will trigger a crypto bull run. So mining bets on XRP cloud mining. Now, I'm not sure if Powell really hinted that without getting into too much into detail, but I would bet. I mean, I personally would bet that the Fed rate cut will trigger a crypto bull run. I mean, we haven't even had a Fed rate cut yet, and it's bounced back quite a bit since the beginning of this year, right? So yeah, I think the Fed rate cut will very likely trigger a crypto bull run. All right, let's come back to the charts here. All right, this is Bitcoin. I never trade altcoins without a clear understanding of Bitcoin. So this is why I think everyone should know and pay attention to the Bitcoin chart here. Now, weekly time frame for Bitcoin here. Weekly time frame for Bitcoin here. We broke out of this cup and handle pattern. Resistance was at about 110K. We're holding that previous resistance as support right now. Let's zoom in to this to daily time frame real quick, but I just want to say the breakout of this pattern would be about 145K. Now, price targets are estimates only. There could be more, there could be less. Very much depends on the type of market we're in. If we're in a bullish market, bearish market, sideways markets, I still think that we're in a bullish market here. Let's go ahead and go to daily time frame here, where there was a falling wedge pattern, right? I talked about this. It broke out of it back in, I would say, about August 21st. Okay, broke out of it. Price target here is about 121K. After the breakout, it did slide down further, but this breakout is still valid because the price action is still above this falling wedge upward trend line. Now, since it has actually bounced off this 110K level here, I mentioned a falling wedge on a smaller time frame yesterday. This is a hourly time frame. Okay, falling wedge on the hourly time frame. It broke out of it not too long ago, like just last night. And price target here is going to be about 115K now, based on this breakout point. So this is basically what I'm seeing. Let's see if Bitcoin gets there. I think that's going to be bullish, very bullish. If Bitcoin gets there, that means, this could be the rebound here. Okay, let's go ahead and go to total, which is basically total crypto market cap, right? Where it takes into consideration of Ethereum and Total 3. And on this total chart, right, I want you guys to take a look into the monthly time frame. I'm going to wait for TradingView to load here real quick. Monthly time frame, this is very important. Now, monthly time frame, the resistance was at about 3.75 trillion. Okay, we are staying above that resistance right now. Okay, and that is basically we're bouncing off that as support, as that's what it looks like right now. Let's take a look into a smaller time frame, daily time frame, where there is a double bottom here, right, which is a bullish pattern that usually breaks to the upside. If this thing breaks to the upside, Bitcoin's gonna go crazy, Ethereum's gonna get crazier, and so will the altcoins. Okay, so the neckline of this double bottom would be about I'm just gonna say for a round number, it's about 4 trillion. Okay, and this is a double bottom with bullish divergence. So, it doesn't seem like any profit taking is going to be leaving the crypto ecosystem, which is going to be good. That means it's probably going to be rotating into the altcoins. So I'm going to take a look into, let's go ahead and take a look into Mog Coin, the meme coins here. Okay, I think there is going to be a time that these meme coins it's going to be, a better opportunity to be trading these meme coins, and there's going to be a time when it's not. I think right now it is. Okay, I am long on quite a bit of coins here, some meme coins, right? So I do think personally it is a time to be more risk on. Okay, so let's talk about Mog Coin here and what has happened since the last time I've talked about it. Mog Coin, weekly time frame. Let's do a quick recap here. What's happening on a higher time frame? We're gonna zoom out first before zooming in. Weekly time frame still looks like there is a rounded bottom pattern, and rounded bottoms are bullish because that tells me that there are still higher highs and higher lows, and we're still seeing the higher lows. Okay. Now since Mog Coin has broken out of this huge falling wedge pattern here that has been formed since back in December. Okay. That was a terrible time to be trading meme coins, right? When Bitcoin hit that 110K level before getting a huge drop, and that's basically the story for basically year to date, right? And it actually broke out of it back in April. Price target for this breakout would be about 50 and 248. Okay, Mog Coin has yet to really hit that price target, and this breakout is still valid. Okay. Now, I've talked about Mog Coin last time on the daily time frame. I mentioned there was a rising wedge pattern, which is a bearish pattern that usually breaks to the downside. Now, Mog Coin did break down, okay, and the breakdown target would be 6 zeros and 41, okay, based on this breakout point. Now, there's quite a bit of support underneath Mog in the price action, right, including the daily 200 SMA. Could these supports be where Mog Coin bounce off of and save itself from this deep breakdown target, right? So something to be keeping an eye out on. Since the breakdown here, it has also formed a falling wedge pattern, which is a bullish pattern that I talk about probably the most often. It's the most common pattern that you guys would see if you guys start charting these charts. And it's very simple, it's very effective, and most importantly, it's very low risk. I usually like to find these patterns to open long positions. They're lower risk than chasing pumps on the day of. Now, within this pattern as well, there is bullish divergence on this daily time frame, which usually indicates a reversal, which we have seen here, a very sharp one as well, but before getting a huge wick here. Wow, because basically it has hit that daily 21 SMA as resistance. Now, let's see if Mog Coin can break out of this falling wedge pattern and avoid this breakdown target, because the breakdown target is also a estimate only. Now, if Mog Coin can actually break out of this falling wedge pattern, I would say it's more likely it's avoiding that breakdown target. And if it breaks out of this falling wedge pattern, let's just say at this point, for example, price target would be about 5 zeros and 1 8. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the next coin here, which is Toshi. Toshi, what has it been doing here? Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look into the weekly time frame. Now, weekly time frame, I mentioned that there is a possible cup and handle scenario if Toshi can come all the way back up here on this weekly time frame to retest about zero point 0.1 cents, okay, because that was the last huge resistance here, and before getting a huge rejection. And Toshi still has a rounded bottom here that's building up on this weekly time frame, and rounded bottoms usually form cup and handles. It doesn't have to. I'm just giving you guys my best guess here right now. Now let's take a look into a smaller time frame. I talked about Toshi here on the smaller time frame last time, that there was a falling wedge pattern that it seems like it broke out. Price target would be about 0.000, 3 zeros and 875 price targets. Let's see if Toshi can hit that. It did hit about 0.00079 before getting rejected, but this breakout still valid. Price action is still above this upper trend line here, and it's formed another falling wedge pattern, which usually breaks to the upside. Okay, and just zooming in here real quick, 4-hour time frame. Falling wedge pattern broke out. Price target for this smaller falling wedge will be about 0.00075. So let's see if Toshi can meet some of these price targets. Of course, also have to consider the downside, because I've seen breakouts that don't get to their price targets as well. So, got to consider those scenarios, right? Nothing in this market is 100%. Let's go ahead and go to Memecoin, which is MEMEUSDT. See what has happened in this coin here, right? Memecoin on this weekly time frame. I'm gonna wait for TradingView to load my chart here, because it's very important. Weekly time frame, I mentioned a falling wedge pattern last time, and it broke out of it. It hasn't done too much, but as of last week's candle, it actually had a major pump, right? If you guys have followed my channel, you guys know that I've talked about this pattern, okay? Now the price target for this breakout here is going to be about 2.7 cents for Memecoin, which is pretty huge, okay? Now, will it get there? I think it's gonna depend a lot on Bitcoin. Okay, if Bitcoin has more room to go, then I think it has a pretty good chance of getting to that price target and potentially some more. However, if Bitcoin starts dumping, especially below that 110K area, then things are gonna get a little sketchy. Okay, and I will update you guys on my opinions if that happens as well. But if Bitcoin dumps, that's not going to be good for the altcoins. Let's take a look into a smaller time frame for Memecoin here. 4-hour time frame. Falling wedge. Price target, if it breaks out by this point, for example, price target would be about 0.0042. Let's see if Memecoin can get there. Now, this basically wraps it up for this video. Let me know if you guys want to continue seeing any more of these coins we just talked about, or any other coins in this market, by dropping a like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.